Good morning. Welcome to Market Mashup, our weekly recap of financial markets and what we have in store for this coming week that might have an impact on stocks and bonds. I'm Scott Nasca, President of Generation Capital Management. A little down week last week for markets. We had the Dow Jones down 17 basis points. The S&P 500 was down 1.1%. NASDAQ was the big loser this week, down 2.41%. So basically a little give back from what's been a pretty strong 2023 so far. What I do want to point out, as I do every week now, is the bond levels, the 2-year and 10-year Treasury bond levels, just to keep an eye out on that. So the 2 years right now is at a 4.55 and the 10 years at a 3.75. Basically, we still have a pretty good size inverted curve out there right now, which the short end has a higher yield than the longer end. So what that generally means, using history as a guide, is that it portends to an economic slowdown and recession. So I think the markets are taking a look at that, and the spread, which is about 80 basis points right now between the 2 and 10 year, is quite large in terms of historical standards. So this is not an insignificant level to look at. So obviously pay attention to that. The Fed's controlling the short end of the market, with their interest rate policies, and the longer end is being dictated by economic growth and inflation. So you want to keep an eye out for that. And markets don't like slowdown. So when you see an indicator like the yield curve showing an inversion that most likely will lead to an economic slowdown or a recession, the markets, be something for the markets to consider going down the line. We do have some big numbers coming out this week. We have the inflation numbers coming out on Tuesday, the CPI. Obviously, that will have all eyes will be on that number. The Fed's looking at that number. They do reference that when they do have their meetings. It's the guide that they're looking for to try and get to that magic 2% inflation level. We're nowhere near that right now. So you want to see, if there's been any change over the last month, if we're starting to see a continued deceleration of inflation, which has been happening over the past few months. There's mixed messages right now in terms of forecasts. We've got some indicators like gasoline out there that have gone higher, which could have an impact on moving the month-over-month number a little bit higher than consensus. If that does happen, or if we start to see, a lot of talk about reacceleration of inflation, the markets are not going to like that too much, and then you could see a pretty good drop if that's the case. So keep an eye out on that number. It will be released. We have retail sales on Wednesday as well. It's always good to know in terms of the growth of that housing market. It's a big number in terms of investors' wealth. So you just want to see if there's any numbers that come out that have some significance there. We're out near the final part of the earnings season right now. We still do have some companies coming out. One to pay attention to is Coca-Cola. The other is Cisco. Give you an idea in terms of the tech, as well as the consumer, which is Coke, to see if we're seeing anything, in terms of spending habits that are going on with Coca-Cola. You want to, take a look at that, because that is such a broad proxy for, the market in terms of household goods and consumer spending. So, keep an eye out on that. And then we also have a lot of Fed governors speaking this week as well. So you just want to pay attention if, commentary that comes out from them, see if anything has changed, if themselves have changed in terms of some of their viewpoints, but just let's see if the message has changed just from the last meeting that just occurred earlier this month. So you just want to pay attention, see if anything, if you read any tea leaves, and see if anything happens there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our website is www.gencapmgmt. Please give us a call as well. Our team is ready to answer any questions that you might have. If you want to have a second opinion and take a look at your portfolios, we're glad to provide that, just to make sure that, basically the portfolio is positioned to meet your goals and objectives going forward. So we're happy to help out any way we can. We've got some different blog and videos on there. John's Top Tips, another one that, has a lot of insightful commentary that you might want to take a look at. So, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be glad to help out any way we can. I'm Scott Nasca, President of Generation Capital Management, and this is Market Mashup. Have a great week.